The final four have been set and reset to 5,000 points. One round of 3 races will now decide this season's Icon Cup Series champion, and Miami kicks it all off. Brian Smith, Vincent Loria, Nathan Finnegan, Charlie Widener, who will be champion? Welcome to Pit Stop TV in the virtual Homestead, Florida. My name is Andrew Cardinale IV. I've got Mason Houseman alongside me this evening, and it's a pleasure to join you for continuing coverage of the 2024 Icon Cup Series. Tonight's coverage from Miami is brought to you by Whiplash Sim Cams, by ATVO, and by CC's Business. Welcome to race 35 of 37. We're right down to the wire here. The last 3 races before we crown a champion at Phoenix, and this is the start of the championship round of 4. Unlike NASCAR, where you have one round of one race to crown the champion, we have 3 races to decide things based on finishing position only. No stage points, no extra bonuses, finishing position over the course of 3 races to decide the champion here in the Icon Cup Series. It's a unique format. I like what they've done this season, and I like what we've been presented with here at Homestead Miami Speedway. Race 35 of 37 here, Mason. This is a difficult place to get around, but it's so rewarding if you get it right.
Yeah, this is definitely a tough track. I've done a couple races this week on this track with these next-gen cars. You know, they're really smooth on the first couple of laps, but you can't apply that power in the mid-corner. It gets a little loose, and you can save that right rear and just let it flow, and you can set some fast laps around this track.
It's going to be a challenge this afternoon as these guys try to put the power down on corner exit. You'll see drivers go all the way down low around the white line, drivers all the way up top around the blue wall, drivers somewhere in the middle, and doing a combination of all 3 things at times. We really don't know anytime we go into the corner what lane a driver is going to choose. The entire racetrack is up for grabs here at Homestead Miami Speedway. Speaking of being up for grabs, the Icon Cup Series point standings coming into this evening, the top 4 have been reset to 5,000. There you see it now with Brian Smith's 14th race win this season. Vincent Loria sitting at 8, Nathan Finnegan at 4, and Charlie Widener making it in with no wins, but into the final 4 on points. You see where everybody stands coming into this evening, and oh boy, there's no bonuses active, no stage points for these top 4. It's just finishing position these last 3 races to decide the championship. I am excited.
Yeah, this is definitely gonna be based off of raw speed. The bonus points is that's gonna be different. I'm not used to ever going with that, but I like the idea. I like it based off of how you finish. It's gonna be, you don't have to worry about the stages. It's just gonna be raw speed. That's what I like about this idea.
You see the race for 5th, currently led very strongly by Ryan Patty at 2,361 points, 2,361. Adam Ball sitting 45 back, Kyle Purcell 76 back, Jacob Gladulich 81 back, so on and so forth down the line for the playoff drivers that have been eliminated to this point in time. And then the drivers that never made the playoffs, Evan Patinko, Cody Neal, so on and so forth through that bunch. Look at the point standings across the top 24 of the series. But with that in mind, we can look at the schedule on these last 3 races, Miami, Martinsville, and Phoenix. The last 3 races to crown a champion, an intermediate, a short track, and something in between at Phoenix Raceway for race 37. These last 3 races are going to be a challenge for sure. Of course, none of these 3 races are alike. None of these 3 races are that easy to get around the racetrack of. I mean, Miami here, you've got problems on corner exit. In the center of the corner, the car just gets loose. Martinsville, if you turn to the right the slightest bit, the car gets unsettled and you're in the wall. Phoenix is just challenging in this next-gen car. It doesn't want to sit in the corner right. It's very difficult to get around there. It's a lot like Homestead here, where the car just gets unsettled on corner exit, gets loose, and you can be in the wall very easily or spinning out or who knows what. So 3 challenging racetracks, especially in this field of 30-some-odd drivers that show up every week. It's going to be difficult for these top 4 to end up, well, the top 4 in any of these races. They're going to be scrapping in the middle of the field, I feel like, a lot of times, just to try and finish up front.
Yeah, it's going to be hard to get a rhythm. You know, these guys are going to have to put the work in. They're going to have to take the time and effort to go out there and every week and practice and see if they can put the times down. You know, a lot of these tracks like Miami, if you can get a good starting position, it's going to make your race. And then straight with Martinsville, it's the same way. You get track position, you can control that race. But Phoenix, that is a very, very difficult race. I've done that a couple times, and every time it's just been a cluster. That's for sure.
Well, let's see what this place has got to offer this evening. Practice wraps up with Ryan Patty on top of the board in the first position on the speed chart. Qualifying is going to open up and give us a whole new opportunity for these drivers to go fast this evening on the racetrack. Let's get into the iRacing.com sim. You see it's late afternoon. Weather conditions, let's see, 83 degrees in the air, clear skies, 90 degrees on track. Not at all a crazy day in terms of weather. A beautiful day for fall racing here at Homestead Miami Speedway. As we bring up the tower ticker graphic on the left side of the screen, we jump into the sim. We start to think about just this Final Four and where they might start this race. This is one of maybe the most important qualifying session of the season, Mason, just to start this round off right.
Yeah, I'm going to go back to it. You want to have that time. You want to be able to be up there, and you want to have that rhythm. If you're starting in the back, you're going to be in the back of your head like, ooh, I need to get myself up there. So you're going to use your stuff, and it's going to end up getting you loose. And you might wreck the car, and you might wreck other people around you. But if you have that time where you can go up front and not have to worry about having to go back to the field, you have more than enough time to focus on your race.
Here's a look at Championship 4 competitor Charles Widener on the racetrack. You just saw Vincent Loria, another Final Four competitor. We've also got Nathan Finnegan on the racetrack in car number 6. He's in the Final Four. He's coming down to complete lap number 1 of his qualifying effort. It's a 34.141. That's second quick of the 2 laps that have been turned so far. And then we've also got Brian Smith. It looks like he is not yet on... Oh, he is on the racetrack. There's Brian Smith in 78 car. So he is on the racetrack and a little cycle through the Final Four. Of course, our focus on these last 3 races will be on the Final Four drivers, but don't worry, we'll be broadcasting the entire race and everything that these races have to offer. These 4 are just kind of the focus. These last 3 races as Sean Purcell goes fastest to the top of the board in qualifying.
Yeah, and you got to focus on the other cars around you. They understand that you're racing for that championship, but they're also racing for their own self. They want to be able to go up there and win a race and show everybody out there that they should be there. And even if they're not in there, they're still going to race to see if they can get that win. So for these championship competitors, it's going to be tough to try to race around them, but they also understand that there's going to be a level of self-respect in the championship.
My question to you, Mason, is where do you want to qualify on this racetrack? Do you want to be on the low side during this lap? Do you want to be on the high side? Where do you think you can go fastest?
Oh, that's a tough question because you can get a lot of speed on that bottom. If you can just hold it there, because these tires, really cold on the start of the race. They want to get loose, so that bottom very well it can make the car stand on the ground, but
pole position run. I'm sorry to interrupt you. Brian Smith straight to the top. That's important.
Yeah, that's big for him. That's very big. Yeah. I like starting on the bottom here. I will say I like it, but I can understand why a lot of people like the top. You get that run off the corner and it propels you to get into 3, so you can get on the bottom of 3 because you want to be on that bottom of 3.
Manufacturer change for Logan Romney from a Toyota to a Ford, now to a Chevrolet. Seems like they are taking the MBM Racing, MBM Racing. They've kind of changed manufacturers the last few years, taking that kind of strategy. They don't care what they run, they just want to get to the racetrack and have some fun. That's the case for Logan Romney and company here in the 42 car. Qualifies 11th so far. Let's see what he's got for lap number 2. A little loose there off of turn 4. Jacob Smith goes 3rd. Logan Romney bumps then to 12th. That lap, though, moves him up the order a little bit into 11th spot again. So he'll hang on in 11th position. Jacob Gladjulich now is on the racetrack for lap 1.
Running that top side, get a little bit of speed on that car so you can call yourself going into 1 or 4. You see a lot of drivers doing that tonight, trying to get that run. That run super important to be able to make it faster.
And down in turns 1 and 2, he goes kind of to a middle lane almost, working, well, still on the top side of the racetrack, but a little bit lower in that top lane, right around the seam area. 34.034 on lap 1 was good for 23rd spot of 26 that have qualified in. The second lap, he's going to try and get it in, but I don't think he's going to quite get there. 5 seconds, 4, he gets the wall. That's all that she wrote for Jacob Gladjulich in this qualifying effort then. And he will have to give it a shot in the race. That's unfortunate for driver 14. Of course, he was part of the playoffs, was eliminated after last week at Las Vegas, and is no longer part of the championship fighting crew. Now, we're going to go to a warm-up session. These drivers have a chance to kind of reset, get a little more practice in, and go back after it in the race. And this is a chance as well, if you didn't like what you had in qualifying there, maybe go set it right? Go run a fast lap time in warm-up and get your momentum back before the race starts.
Yeah, I like the warm-up idea, because a lot of the time you're practicing on different master cylinders, you're practicing on a different steering pinion, and sometimes you want to change it up because you see the person behind you just going so much faster, but you just want to see if you can get their speed, so you change it up for qualifying. It doesn't work out, so most of the time a lot of these drivers go and revert back to what they used to do and make it so they can make the car even faster and making themselves more comfortable in the car.
All right, well, warm-up session is open. We've gone about a minute into things. I want to talk about, while these guys run some practice laps, what's upcoming here at Pit Stop TV. Next up, it's the Jack-O-Lantern 200 from Regal Promotions. We'll be going to Auto Club Speedway on October the 30th for a special Halloween-themed event. There will be plenty of Halloween paint schemes and more in this 200-mile race. It'll be 100 laps at a 2-mile track, 200 miles in total for the Jack-O-Lantern 200. Should be a lot of fun on Wednesday. And a week from today, we're off to Martinsville Speedway in the second race of the round of 4. And Wednesday, November 6th, it's out to Las Vegas Motor Speedway once again for us here at Pit Stop TV, this time for the SimRap Market Series, as they take on race number 4 of their 18-race season. Lap times are rolling in. You can see where these drivers are in this quick little 5-minute practice session. Ryan Patty to the top of the board again. And he might have had a little bit of draft help, but that still is a statement for sure in this warm-up session.
Yeah, I was watching him earlier in the practice session. He seems like he's got a lot of long-range speed, so I know he's not in the playoff contention anymore, but this could be a statement drive saying that he wishes he was here, but he still has the speed to show him that he can still go out there and win.
Vinny Meistus now goes fastest in this warm-up session. I also saw for a moment that Robert Roth was faster. So that 59 car making one of his few starts this season, looking very fast. And he's not alone. We've also got Tristan Piron on the racetrack, Zach Lockett, Thomas Taylor, Kyle Gilbert, Evan Patenko, Kyle Diaz, Sean Purcell, Jacob Smith, and so many more hitting the racetrack, hitting the high banks here for these 5 minutes.
Yeah, we see a lot of drivers running 1 and 2 high, which honestly kind of surprised me, because that corner really wears out your right front. But I mean, I just got disproven because he's got it in the bottom. But I think he's pretty well on top.
And, you know, to get into the tire conversation this evening, we do have Whiplash SimCam's race details to talk about, and we can take a look here at the fact that we've got a 160-lap race, much like Las Vegas a week ago. Pretty clear-cut stages, as we've got a crash here on the front stretch. That's okay. Pretty clear-cut stages at 48, 99, and then all the way to the end at 160. But we've got 4 change sets, so I'd say plenty of tires. That said, you probably want to save 1 set here in one of the early stages.
That's for sure. Yeah, you don't want to go out there and waste your tires out in the first stage or second stage, because you want to be able to have an extra set of tires just in case it goes on your if you're left out there on old tires and all these guys can get new tires, you're going to be sick. And that is for sure, because these tires mean a lot. And we will see that tonight, most likely, if they green flag pit stops.
Looks like driver 01, Kyle Purcell, was just going to make it. It looks like he's just made it. So buzzer beater driver entry. Kyle Purcell will make it this evening. Good to have him. He was eliminated in the last round of 8 at Las Vegas, cut from the playoffs, and will not be able to race in the Final Four. As we still look at the Whiplash SimCam's race details and kind of watch some of these guys fly around Homestead, we're going to be talking about different lines all night long and what's better, what's worse. I took a little bit of time earlier today, ran a few laps and learned a good bit about what this car takes to get around here. I like the top side. The bottom is usable. I'm not sure exactly which is going to be best for tire wear. I think moving around might be the way to go. Kind of searching here and there and just finding what's fast at any point in time. But these guys all have their strategies already kind of cooked up, right? They pretty much know what they're going to do when the green flag falls.
Yeah, you definitely don't want to change it up at all. But I personally think that high side is going to be the best in 1 and 2, and then that bottom is going to be the best in 3 and 4. But if you're trying to save your tire, you're going to want to run both bottom on each sides of the track, because you might be slower, you might not be as fast, and it might look like you're falling down the order, but you're going to save that right front, you're going to save that left rear, and that right rear. You're going to save all your tires pretty much, because you're going slow around the track. You're going to be faster around the track on the bottom, but you're going to lose that run.
Let's take a look at our starting grid this evening, brought to you by CC's Business. On pole, it's Brian Smith. In car 78, Charles Woods will start from second. A career best starting position, I believe, for Charles Woods. That is a big, big starting spot for him. Second place this evening is big for car 98. Starting third will be Jacob Smith in the 21 car, then Nathan Finnegan from the fourth spot. Starting fifth, it's Charlie Widener. Starting sixth, you'll find Joshua Clemens, also eliminated from the Final Four. But it's so interesting. We've got 3 of the Final Four drivers in the top 5, including Charlie Widener. Brian Smith in first, Nathan Finnegan fourth, Charlie Widener fifth, and then you'll find Vincent Laurier here down the order a little ways. Ray Lane will start from 7th, Ryan Patty from 8th, then Kyle Diaz and Sean Purcell complete your top 10. I want to stick with it here for just a second because you see Logan Romney and Vinny Meises 11th and 12th. But then, here we go, there's row 7, still no Vincent Laurier. Where is Vincent Laurier? Down in row, row 8, 15th spot. The other Final Four drivers starting way down the order. I know it's a 3-race round of 4, but you've got to get up on the wheel from the get-go here if you want to have a chance for this championship. Vincent Laurier starting a little bit behind the 8 ball this evening. You see Tristan Pirine to his outside, then Robert Roth, Brock Hersey, Evan Patinko, and Steven Tuck complete your top 20. Let the rest roll by on the bottom of your screen as we get set to go racing this evening from the one, the only virtual Homestead Miami Speedway. Mason, any final thoughts before we turn the green flag loose?
I'm scared for Vince Laurier. That's a scary spot you don't want to be in, especially starting out the championship. But he's fast. He's obviously shown it to be here. We'll see how he does here.
Might take a little bit of strategy work for the 67 this evening. Looks like there goes the iRacing.com pace truck to the relative safety of pit lane. And we're going to turn them loose down here in the Geico restart zone. Green flag is in the air at Homestead Miami Speedway. Down the backstretch for the first time, 32 cars in all, down to turn 3, and 2 for the Final Four, racing into turn 3, Finnegan on the very outside, Brian Smith down low.
He's gonna get the run. He's gonna get the run here. Yeah, that outside's so fast on the run. They've been showing you can get that run on the outside for sure.
Charlie Woods hanging with these guys. He sits in third, but here comes Jacob Smith in that 21 car. Everybody fanning out across the racetrack, 2, 3 wide throughout the course of the field. In fact, here's 3 wide right behind the leaders. This is for about the 7th spot.
And those guys were getting way up there on that wall. You see that black stripe on the outside wall? That's from all the rubber being laid there. And I love how.
Oh, the crash! Sean Purcell, Ray Lane. It's going to take out Vinny Meises and more.
Oh, no. That's not what you want to happen, especially being this early in the race.
I had the privilege of being at Orange County Speedway in Rougemont, North Carolina last night, calling some racing, some short track racing, and we had a couple of really large early race incidents. Lap 2, lap 4, we flipped a couple of cars over. I was just thinking, rounding turn 3 and 4, man, I'm glad we've gotten through this first couple of laps okay, and then as soon as we cross the stripe, this happens. It looks like, upon first glance, that Ray Lane came up a little bit into the 04 of Sean Purcell, and Sean Purcell just about had the steering wheel ripped out of his hands. But we'll get another look at it. They were 3 wide, the 3 wide we were talking about on the back straightaway. Purcell in the middle, Clemens up top, and Lane down low. Then Vinny Meistis came up on the outside, Purcell through the middle. And off the corner here, we'll slow it down for you. Ray Lane just comes up the racetrack. I don't know if he realized they were 3 wide, but he came up into Sean Purcell. Purcell corrected, trying to go left and stay out of the cars to his outside. That brought him back down into Ray Lane. That collects Vinny Meistis and Logan Romney, and it's on from there.
Yeah, that's just a tough racing incident. You know, you got drivers that are 3 wide. You're not able to really see that car on the outside as well as you are able to see on the inside. So kind of a little bit of a blind spot there. Oh, that's a hard hit to the left right there by, who was that? That would be Vinny, and that's gonna be a big repair job right there. But yeah, that's just a racing incident. I feel, you know, going 3 wide this early in the race, you got a little blind spot on the right side. So.
On board with Zach Lockett right behind it all. He just gets through all of this down to the turn 1. Right there, just gets by the spinning 41 and 70 cars. That was real close.
Wow, that is just barely get through the hole. That is some good driving right there.
Watch it one more time for Zach Lockett, this time from the in-car perspective. And you can just tell something is brewing ahead. Look at how spread out they are across the racetrack. Something's going to happen here. You can just feel it. And sure enough, off the corner. Wow.
Whoa. Gosh, he's gonna need a new pair of pants after that one. That was close.
And here's the perspective for Vinny Meistis, right up on the outside wall. Gets collected there by the spinning 41, spins down, narrowly misses Vincent Loria, and then gets pounded into the inside wall there by Ray Lane at the end of it.
Yeah, I think Meistis got one of the hardest hits there for sure. Got that right rear contact from the Loria and then Lane, I mean. And yeah, that's not what you want earlier in this race. You know, you don't want to have to come back to the squirrel, have to use any fast fixes, and you don't want to have to deal with all this stuff.
Vincent Loria, a very near miss there this early in the day. Not what you want to see if you're a Final Four competitor, but he has moved up from 15th to 8th in the span of just a couple of laps of racing. So he has moved up quickly into the top 10 and right behind Charlie Widener, so a decent start to the race for him, considering we were just talking about how far back he qualified and how much trouble he might be in. I think he's got to be feeling a whole lot better right now.
Yeah, you know, they wrecked in front of him, but he's just saying thank you from all those positions of the wreck that happened in front of him. So, you know, it's gonna hurt the other drivers, but Vincent, he's loving life right now, you know, picking up all those spots.
Meanwhile, Nathan Finnegan, Brian Smith will be the front row for this restart. Finnegan took the lead away on that short run. Was able to get it done after starting, I believe, on the top side of the racetrack. So it's interesting to me that he's going to choose bottom here on this restart against Brian Smith. That's going to bring Charlie Woods down low in the 98 car, Jacob Smith down low in the 21. And put Charlie Widener up top, right behind Ryan Patty, who's behind Brian Smith. The Final Four, though, are now into the top 8, all told.
I'm liking this. I'm liking this close race, and I'm liking this for the championship contenders in the top 10 or in the top 8, as we said. You know, I want to see them fight for this. I want to see them race as hard as they can to get those points. So this is what we can see.
We'll watch these guys roll off the making here and down to the Geico restart zone one more time. There goes the iRacing.com safety truck to the relative safety of pit lane. Green flag back in the air from Barney the Flagman. We're racing again in Miami. And down the backstretch, Nathan Finnegan solely out front. Widener drops back to 7th, Loria into 6th. We'll ride on board with Charlie Widener here early.
I'm liking these guys going to the bottom. You're going to be able to save that tire way better than you're going to be able to save on top. Top might be faster, but that bottom is going to save your tire. And you're going to want that for longer. You see Patty making a move on Brian Smith right now.
But couldn't you go to the top side a corner or two and just run up there to get some positions?
You can. It's going to warm up your tire. It's going to be really hard to cool those tires down. This track is very known for making your tires get really hot. You can't control your temperature. You're going to wear that tire a lot faster than the majority of the people around you. So, but I like the move that Finnegan's doing. He's just barely running above that bottom lane, but I think he's pushing her just a little bit too hard here. You know, you guys are going to start pulling him in. Right? He's making that no, he's going to pull him in a little bit. But I like what Brian Smith is doing. He's letting people go by, saving that tire, and keeping her controlled.
Speaking of working the top side to move by a few rows and a few cars, here comes Kyle Purcell. He is launched up into the top 10, nearly top 5. He's 6th, going for 5th here on Jacob Smith into turn 1. He is bound and determined to crack the top 5, and there he goes. His brother Sean Purcell goes fastest at a 33.294, and Purcell rolls off the top side again, gets to the outside of Vincent Loria.
That run he got, that's going to propel Brian Smith to get ahead of his competitor, and that it's fast, but I'm telling you, you're gonna wear that tire out. You're gonna get tight. But I do like this move. Like I do understand what you're saying against the spots, but it's gonna be scary if you're gonna start wearing the tire out.
Well, if he does this to just get the track position and they go straight to the bottom and start saving, it might work out to where he's further ahead of where he would have been. He might still drop back a few spots later on, but if he can get an overall net gain for later in this race, that might be worth it for him.
Yeah, you're totally right there. I didn't even take that into perspective. Yeah, you're totally right there, getting that position, trying to. We're getting a little touchy back there. But yeah, I completely understand what you're saying there, getting that track position and then save his tire a little bit. It doesn't really seem like he's in any perspective to get down to the bottom. As I said, he's going to the bottom.
Purcell stays high that time. He went and ran the bottom down in 3 and 4 the last lap, but here we go. On the outside of race leader Nathan Finnegan, he goes, or tries to go, gets the wall, and now shifts down to the inside of Nathan Finnegan into turn 3 rather, and he'll take the lead away. So Kyle Purcell from nearly missing this race to first place on lap 13.
He is definitely making a charge right now. Speed now. Kyle, he's sticking to that high side. I give him props. He's sticking to it. He must have figured something out that I haven't figured out. So I give him that. He's making that run known. But he's pulling. He's pulling. He's got what, a 5/10 gap on Nathan Finnegan right now. So he's making his speed known.
Which makes you wonder, if he had just made the round of 4, could he have gone and won this race and propelled himself closer to a championship if he had just made it in?
Yeah, you can't get yourself encased in those what ifs. It's one of the worst things to be in. It's a what if. What if I won the race? What if I got in? But you just gotta keep your head up and just keep going with it. You're never gonna be able to get that time back, but you can make a statement come from sure.
Looks like Evan Patinko or Joshua Clemens. It was Joshua Clemens down the inside. I thought it was a white Ford. But Clemens, loose off of turn 2, slides down the apron, Comes back up onto the racetrack and rejoins in about the 21st position. So down a lot of spots as problems. Kyle Gilbert now is dropping through the field.
He must have gotten loose off before because to be able to lose that much speed because it doesn't look like he has everything so he must have just gotten loose off before for sure.
On board with Vincent Loria. This is up inside the top 5. He runs 5th, chasing Brian Smith. Nathan Finnegan is the top Final Four driver. The bottom Final Four driver has become Charlie Widener. He has slipped down to the 11th position, so problems for the 95 car here early. He is down to 11th spot. Kyle Diaz has gone past him. And there you see the App State Mountaineers 95 Toyota Camry. He's going to lose another spot. There goes Zach Lockett.
I'm wondering if he's just backing the corner down earlier than all these other drivers to see if he can save his tire. I mean, it's risky to see if you can save your tire just a little bit more than the driver in front of you, but it could work out with him in the end.
Speaking of that race that I was calling last night, the Orange Blossom Shootout at Orange County Speedway, we had a 150-lap late model stock race in which we saw Deke McCaskill sit back in 12th of 12 and save his tires for the entire first 2 segments of that race. It was 50, 50, and 50. So call it stages, right? The first 2 stages, he sat back and saved everything he could. That last stage, he pushed as hard as he could to get up there, and he fought through to 3rd position just by saving his tires early, making sure he had them for late. Could we see this same strategy now for Charlie Widener in this first stage of racing? Does he sit back and save his tires and then push a little bit later to try and get some track position before the end of the stage?
I totally think that's what he's doing right now. You know, he's got the speed. He's in the championship for a reason. I think this is a really smart move by him. Try to save your tire, get that speed, get back up to the front, and see if you can beat your competitors on tire wear.
Time will tell for the 95 car. He sits on the inside of Zach Lockett and now Sean Purcell. He's in risk of falling down to 13th spot. By the way, Kyle Purcell has a 2.1 second race lead right now. He is out to a large advantage. There's the 0-1 into turn 3. And as he comes off the 4th corner, we'll flip back and get 2nd place and so on and so forth. There's Purcell. Further back is Finnegan. And you see the gap. I mean, they're not even in the same frame.
Oh, it's a huge gap. I'm surprised that he's pulled this much gap. He's pulled 3 tenths now, even more on Nathan Finnegan. So good on Kyle Purcell. He completely squashed my idea of how you're going to save the tire and you're going to go fast. So good on him. He squashed my idea real quick.
Well, now I have to wonder, are these guys saving a little more? In fact, oh yeah, Nathan Finnegan is saving fuel. I just saw the RPMs down at 1998. He is saving fuel into the corner. I think that's what a lot of these guys are doing. They're trying to make it a fuel mileage stage and not have to pit.
Yeah, and
clutch in,
just
all the way down to 2,000 RPMs. Clutch back out.
Oh yeah, I thought they'd be able to make it on fuel, but I wrong.
60% fuel load will do that.
Oh, yeah. So that's totally what they're trying to do, same fuel. But I'm watching Kyle Purcell right now. I think he's trying his best to save fuel, but I'm watching him right now. That car is pushing. And he's still on the throttle. I'm watching. He's still on the throttle. He's not really as much RPMs down as most of the guys behind him. So I definitely don't think that Kyle's saving as much as Nathan behind him.
Interestingly, he's not downshifting, so he's going to save some fuel just by not downshifting to 4th gear. That could also help him from getting super free on corner exit. I mean, he got free that time out of 4, but if he's not downshifting, he's going to save fuel, and he's not going to turn as many revs in the center of the corner. The rear end won't kick out as far. It's a really interesting strategy.
Yeah, I really want to see how this works out for him. I want to know if this is the way to do it, because I did not believe this to work, but he's making it, and he's making it shown that he is going to be working it.
Meanwhile, here we are with Nathan Finnegan and Brian Smith, second and third. The top two Final Four drivers going after it. Smith on the inside. Finnegan's going to give that spot up. Finnegan is saving fuel. Brian Smith does not appear to be doing so.
Yeah, I didn't see Finnegan that time shift down to fourth. I saw Brian Smith shift down to fourth there, so I'm wondering if Brian is just trying to get that track position, and once he gets in front of Finnegan, he's going to try saving that fuel.
Finnegan leaves it in fifth, uses the clutch on corner entry. He's trying to save all that he can. We'll watch Brian Smith's telemetry here to the first corner. Looks like he's going to stay in fifth gear and does not put the clutch in. So I don't think he's all that worried about fuel.
Yeah, doesn't seem like it.
Whiplash SimCam's race details, based on other mile-and-a-half races we've had this season, the fuel expectancy is about 37 to 40 laps. So this is a 48-lap stage. That means these guys need to save somewhere in the range of 8 laps of fuel at least. It's a long time. And that fuel expectancy could be a little bit off. That's based on other mile-and-a-half races. We had them last week. It's the same fuel expectancy. This racetrack, though, is configured differently to where it's 2 straightaways and 2 corners, no D shape to it. So we could have a little more off-throttle time. These guys could make it a little bit further on fuel just by the nature of the racetrack. We could be looking at a slightly larger fuel window.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure it out, because this is a situation I personally never been in, so I really want to see how this really is going to work out. Because if you're going to try to run it to the end, you better hope you can clutch that car in and not run out of fuel, especially when the pace laps. That's not something that you want to happen to yourself.
Kyle Diaz at the block here on Logan Romney. These guys racing for 5th and 6th. Romney gives a little shot there to the 26 car on corner entry. 3 of our 4 Final Four drivers are in the top 4. Kyle Purcell is the other top 4 driver. Meanwhile, the other Final Four driver sits back in the 13th spot, Charlie Widener. And Purcell still has a nearly 3-second lead on Brian Smith.
It's fallen down just a little bit, though. It was about 3.6 seconds. Now it's down to 3.0. So Brian Smith starting to reel him in just a little bit. He's starting to bring company with him. But I think Brian Smith's not saving as much as Nathan. I still agree with you on that one.
On board with Brian Smith now. And you can see he's working at the bottom, starting to claw back up to the 0-1 car. Gains time through the corners, loses on the straightaways just by virtue of running the bottom side.
Reeling him in, that is for sure. He's dropped about 4/10 on Kyle Purcell. So Ryan Smith showing that he's got speed, but let's see if he has enough fuel to make it to the end.
I think Brian's certainly going to have to pit. I think Nathan Finnegan might be in the range of making it. Kyle Purcell is kind of an unknown, likely going to have to pit there as well.
This is going to be fun to watch. I definitely want to see how this one plays out. But if you pit, obviously you're not going to take tires, right?
You have to stay on this same set, especially with how close it is on fuel. You have to stay on this same set. Come in for a splash, get back on the racetrack as fast as possible. Now, if I'm somebody who knows I'm going to have to pit, I would make the pit stop sooner than later personally, get it out of the way. But there is something to be said for waiting in case a caution comes out. Loria here giving up some spots. Not Loria. Loria has taken over third, rather. Finnegan giving up some spots in the 6 car. He is still saving fuel, letting these guys go, knows that he's racing his own race. He's racing the racetrack, not the cars around him.
He's in max save right now, that's for sure. He's trying to see if he can just save just that little bit more fuel than the guys in front of him. Because, like you said, he's going to see if he can make it throughout the entire race or the entire stage without pitting. So this will be interesting. But he does have the cars in front of him to help him save just a little bit more fuel. Get that air off his nose, make it so that he can get in the clutch a little more and use the car on the straightaways to be able to propel them forward.
Watch it here. Watch the RPMs drop from 8,300 all the way down to 2,000 in a hurry. That tells us that he's putting the clutch in through the corner to save fuel, to cut the fuel burn. The only thing else extra he can do is shut the car off, and that's difficult to do.
Yeah, I would definitely lead people away from that. I think shutting your car off is kind of a dangerous maneuver because you have to do a bunch of stuff to get it back on, and you could just mess it just a little bit so that you're going to lose a heap of time.
Well, it's lap 35 of 160 now. Charlie Widener has dropped back, by the way, to 14th spot. He's still back here with Zach Lockett and Vinny Meistus. But he just doesn't seem to be in a good position at all. He drops now to 15th. And maybe he's saving fuel, but it seems like a lot of these guys are trying to save tire and fuel. I'm just not so sure that he's got it this evening.
Yeah, I can't. He's not saving as much as anything, but it also it's hard to tell with these guys because he's not throwing the clutch, and I think he's personally just struggling with the traffic ahead of him. He's not going to be able to plant that car down as much as he wants to.
See him downshifting to 4th gear in the corner still. It's also interesting there for car 95 that he's still shifting. A lot of drivers are not.
Oh,
caution. And this is not for the stage. This is for Tristan Pirine. Turned around out of turn number 2. So problems with the 18 car. And this takes everything and turns it on its head. This could be a valuable opportunity to come in and get fuel, maybe even tires, and go to the end. Let's see what happened to Tristan Pirine. Running down around the 30th spot. Comes out of turn 2, just gets loose, overcorrects. Boom. Wall.
Yeah, you got lucky that those drivers were very self-aware. He got out of the way. No big damage. He's going to have a couple seconds of options, but I think he got very lucky there on the drivers behind him because they totally could have plowed into him. That's for sure.
Everybody catches up to the pace truck here on the back straightaway. And this is going to be a first real pit opportunity. I think you have to come in and at least get fuel.
Yeah, I would totally agree with you on that. But if you're in Nathan Finnegan's perspective, you are kicking yourself because you didn't know this caution was going to come out, but you've been saving so much more fuel than the other people around you. And now they get to go in and not have to worry about it. But he's staying out.
But again, stays out along with Tay McDonald, it looks like. Or was that... that was Tay McDonald, it looks like. Yeah, in the 29 car. So he stays out. Finnegan stays out. It seems like they're banking on these drivers that are coming in on taking fuel only. We'll see what Brian Smith does. This evening's pole sitter into the first box. Jacob Smith there as well. Fuel only.
Yep. It looks like Purcell lost 2 spots on pit road.
Part of that was the first pit box for the 78 car, being that he started this race from pole position. Just having that first pit box is an advantage.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Well, this is a good opportunity to thank our partners with Pit Stop TV, Whiplash SimCams, ATVO, CC's Business, and Cody Williams Design, helping us get to and from the virtual racetrack. And I did not mean to cut you off there, Mason. What do you have for us?
I was going to ask in your situation here, if you are Nathan Finnegan or if you are Tay McDonald, what will be your game plan here? Are you going to keep saving fuel because you don't know if we don't know if they have enough fuel because they probably are saving fuel right now. But if you are in Nathan or Tay's situation, would you continue to save fuel or try your best to keep that position?
Well, I'm going to save all the fuel I can here under the caution. Finnegan's probably going to be okay. McDonald as well. McDonald actually pitted under that first caution, so he topped off on gas. They should both be good, I would think, especially with this caution flag coming out for the 6th of Finnegan. So we'll see.
You would hope. Yeah. You don't want to be in the situation of these drivers behind you, especially since almost the entire field came in and got fuel. So they're all going to not be saving as much fuel as you are. If you do have to save fuel, so you're going to lose a bunch of positions if you're trying to save fuel still. So let's hope they made the right decision to stay out. I think they did, and I hope you think they did, but we'll see.
We'll find out. Cody Neal also stayed out along with Ryan Patty, so they are not alone. 4 drivers stay out under this caution flag. The first car to pit was Adam Ball, and actually no, sorry, more cars stayed out. 7 cars stayed out. Adam Ball pitted under that previous caution, so he's good on fuel, or at least should be. Jacob Gladulett should be as well, along with Stephen Tuck. So 7 cars stay out here. And while there might not be stage points for the final 4, there's still stage points for everybody else. So the top 5 is going to be where you want to be for stage points. It's not the top 10 like in NASCAR or other leagues. It's the top 5 here in the Icon Cup Series that pays out stage points. And that now consists of Tay McDonald, Nathan Finnegan, Ryan Patty, Cody Neal, and Adam Ball. Ryan Patty and Adam Ball are both fighting to be 5th place in the championship. So that's kind of a little race in and of itself. And I think they each want to get those stage points and go for it. So it's interesting that those 2 drivers are prioritizing the stage here. It makes sense.
Yeah, you definitely will get the best of the rest. That's what you're aiming for, especially if you can't make the championship. You want to try to see if you can be the best of the rest. But for all these championship drivers, you're going to want to stay clear of drama for them, because they're trying to make it so they can get the 5th place. But you're trying to make it so you can make these last 3 races and make it so you can go and win a championship. So this is going to be interesting on Finnegan, especially with these 2 drivers behind him trying to fight the pit.
We're going to turn him loose this time off of turn number 4. Tay McDonald, the race leader, coming into the Geico restart zone. Nathan Finnegan outside. They'll have just 7 laps to go before the end of stage 1. Green flag back in the air at Miami. Finnegan and McDonald going to fight it out for the race lead. You see 2, 3, 4 wide in the background, all the way to turn number 3. Couple of cars grabbing the outside wall, but here we go for position number 1, Tay McDonald, Nathan Finnegan.
And we got Ryan Patty just getting his run through there, getting close. Now I like this position Finnegan's in, but he's got to watch out. Brian Smith has made up a bunch of positions on that start, already up to 4th, and trying to see if he can come up here and fight for that 1st place in the stage.
Tay McDonald still leading the race. He goes down low that time through 3 and 4. Here comes Finnegan with a run up top. Brian Smith in the background, and Finnegan's going to go low now with that run.
He's going to get him.
Finnegan a little loose. Tay McDonald going to have a run. Ryan Patty, though, on his inside. That's going to box that 29 car in. So the 6 will hang on to the race lead, and here comes the 30 to kind of play blocker almost for the 6, or maybe just go for the race lead on his own. The 6 and 30 are teammates.
Yeah, I would assume that Ryan's going to try his best to see if he can help his teammate out. You know, you want your teammate to win the championship. So I think if we see Brian get around Tay here, I think we're going to see Patty try to block Brian just a little bit, but I could be wrong here.
Brian Smith surges through on the bottom side of Tay McDonald. McDonald grabs the wall. This time by 3 laps to go in stage 1. And just like I said earlier, Stage points do not matter for the Final Four. It's only where they finish. So right now, the Final Four's positions are relatively irrelevant. And whoa, Ryan Patty gets free.
That was a big catch there. That could have ended in him going to the wall. And Brian Smith went right behind him, so that could have been devastating for Brian.
Brian Smith will take advantage and pop down to the inside lane through 3 and 4. 2 laps to go this time behind the stage. Now Brian Smith gets loose. He just hangs on to the race car.
They are fighting these cars. They're racing for all that's worth right now.
It's rare you see a mistake like that out of Brian Smith.
Just trying to get that track position. He wants to get around Ryan to make sure he can be the second place car, because I don't think there's going to be much catching Nathan right now with only 2 to go.
Gets down to the inside of the 30 car there through 3 and 4. Going to race him back down to the stripe, and it will be Brian Smith ahead of Ryan Patty for that second position. 1 lap to go in stage 1. Vinny Meistus hangs on to the final spot in the stage. Then it's Kyle Purcell and Ray Lane. Ray Lane, by the way, looks like he took 4 tires. Vinny Meistus took 4 tires. Purcell gets the wall. Romney took 4 tires. But up front, it's all car number 6. Nathan Finnegan. While stage points won't help him in the Final Four, he's going to come out of turn number 4 and collect stage win 1 here at Homestead Miami Speedway. I should say a stage 1 win. He's got plenty of stage wins this season.
Yeah, that's good of him to try to keep in front of Brian. You know, you wanna keep in front of your competitors. You control the race from in front. But I think we're gonna see Nathan do the same thing he did last stage: save some fuel, make it so he can fight his way back up there, and hopefully have the same thing happen again where a late caution comes and Brian has to go into the pits. But you see, Patty going to the pits. I wonder if he just ran out of fuel.
He must be out.
Yeah, he's out. He's clutching right now. Well, that's not good for him. He's going to be trying to see if he can get a black clear here, because I'm assuming pit lane's closed.
Well, he's a part of that admin team. He's pretty much head admin here in the Icon Cup Series, so that'll be interesting to see it. I don't know how they're going to treat that, actually. If they're going to get him the black flag is cleared, I'd imagine he'll have to go to the tail end of the longest line here. But he will pit and take service. 4 tires go on the 30 car, and he's going to have to, I'd imagine, tag on to the rear end of the field.
Yeah, that's what's going to have to happen as soon as you go into that pit lane. Even if you clear that black flag, iRacing is for some reason still going to throw you into the tail end of the field. But
Cody Neal had to do the same thing. You see him leaving pit lane now.
Yeah, it's something you have to do. You're not going to make it around the track unless someone pushes you, and I would assume no one wants to really do that. So, yeah.
Finnegan comes in. There's Brian Smith as well into the box. And we should see 4 tires go on all these cars. Jacob Smith comes in, and yeah, 4 tires all around for everybody. Charles Woods is in, and well, there you go. Vinny Meistus and Logan Romney, they are out first because they did not take tires. They already took tires.
Brian beat Finnegan off the pit lane, so it looks like Finnegan sped. Yep, he's going to the tail end of the field. He just sped through the pit lane. He's letting all these guys go by. Some big implications for the championship right now.
Well, that's our stage 1 winner that we'll be talking to.
It's not what you want to happen for yourself.
Yeah, maybe not the circumstances that Nathan Finnegan wants to hear from us as far as the penalty on pit lane, but you are the stage 1 winner this evening. What happened there in the pits?
No, I appreciate it, guys. That wasn't in the cards. Everything played out. We rolled the dice, and it worked out in our favor. We were less than 1/10 of a gallon to making it, and we rode in with 0.09 fuel left in the tank at the box, and then, yeah, we jumped the gun. We were a little slow getting in because of the lack of fuel, and, yeah, just cooked it getting out.
How does this change the game plan for you? Do you still save here in stage number 2, try to replicate what you did in stage 1, or do you go guns a-blazing?
I feel like at this point, survival is probably our best strategy. There's been Heard it's been pretty racy back here so far, and we've had a couple yellows, so honestly just try to keep our nose clean, and at the end of the day it's not about the stage points, but just getting to the end and getting that race finish. So just going to try to keep the car clean here.
And how about this new, well, I say new, unique structure, we'll say, for the Final Four, being that it's a round of 3 races as opposed to a 1-race round? Does that, I mean, obviously it changes the game plan for you Final Four drivers, but do you like that? Do you hate that? Any feelings on it?
I honestly prefer it. I honestly wish real-life NASCAR would go to this format, because then it would just honor consistency rather than just a one-day, everyone has their moment type of race. So.
Fair enough. Nathan Finnegan going to restart towards the rear of the field, though, to get Stage 2 underway. Nathan, good to talk to you. Wish it was under better circumstances, but congratulations on the Stage 1 win.
Appreciate it, buddy. Thank you.
And there you see Finnegan goes back down and will rejoin his team in the Discord channel, but he's going to have to go all the way to the rear of the field with Ryan Patty and start Stage 2 from the very back end of the Icon Cup Series field. Now up front, it's going to be Ray Lane and Vinny Meistus, then Brad Delph and Logan Romney. Ray Lane stayed out. He pitted 14 laps ago. He took tires, and the rest of these guys who took fuel only stayed out, or, well, pitted with him, rather. So they've got the same age tires, 14 laps right now. The first brand new tires are on Tame McDonald and Brian Smith's cars in row 3.
Yeah, I think we're going to see those guys with newer tires absolutely fly their way through the field. Tires are a must here. You save, even if you save your tire, 14 laps is going to take off that rubber. It's going to make it so they wear, and they're going to be a lot worse than people that have the fresher tire. So we will see how it all unfolds here.
This is technically a longer stage, but in effect slightly shorter, because you burn up caution laps here before we go back racing. You see it there in the bottom right of the screen, 51 laps. We've burned up about 5 under caution. Here we go, green flag back in the air. Ray Lane leads us to the green flag again at Miami. Ray Lane, Vinny Meistus, Logan Romney, Brian Smith, Brad Delph, your top 5.
See Kyle Purcell get a little bit in the wall there, right behind this pack. So that's not what you want to do. You don't want to start getting up on that wall. You have compound damage. Well, your toe link will start to break if you hit the wall too much. So something good that iRacing's added to this, making sure you have wear no matter what's going on. But it will absolutely destroy your chances of being able to get up there, because you will not be able to turn. I have learned that the hard way.
Smith goes by for 3rd here. He is one of only 2 Final Four drivers that are in the top 10 right now. Himself and Vincent Loria. Loria sits in 10th. Romney crosses the 78 car back up, though, and goes right back by Brian Smith. Here comes Tame McDonald. And usually we've come to expect Brian Smith to be one of the best, if not the best, on these intermediate racetracks, such as Las Vegas a week ago where he won. But he's just not outshining the field tonight. He's been top 5 tonight for sure, but he's not outshining anyone in particular. There are plenty of drivers I feel like who can win this race. A couple of them are 1st and 2nd. This is a very wide open race right now. It's going to come down to strategy, I feel like.
Yeah, you're totally right there. If you can outshine on strategy, you can win this race. This track is all on strategy. You can save that tire, like I've been saying all day. You're gonna just help. So absolutely falling on that outside around Brian Smith. Wow, that was a run. He's gonna throw it on the inside here too. Holy.
Kyle Purcell surges through to 3rd place for now. He's going to slide up in front of Romney and take that spot away. Here comes Romney with a crossover, maybe? No, a shot there to the back end of the 0-1 car.
I think that's a smart move there by Rodney. Don't fight too hard. Make it so the faster car goes in front. Follow him, get that speed, catch up to these top 2. You don't want to be fighting too hard, especially when you know Brian Smith is right behind you.
Couple of cars a little bit free in the back of the field. But on to lap 58 now of 160 laps, clicking away in a hurry here at Homestead, Miami. Logan Romney now sits in the 4th spot. 5th is Tay McDonald. 6th is your first Final Four driver. That's Brian Smith now. And he can relax. He's got really nobody around him that he has to race for the championship. But the better you can make your finishing position, the more of a cushion you're going to have going into next week in Martinsville, and you're going to need a cushion.
Yeah, you always wanted that cushion going into Martinsville. You don't know what's going to happen. It's a short track. Tempers fly. Bumpers get bumped. So I'm expecting Brian just to hold off a little bit here. He knows that he doesn't need the points for stage 2. If he doesn't get points for stage 2, he will probably most likely be fighting as hard as he can for that final race position. I think right now it's a smart decision. Let these guys go up there, race for stage points. Maybe so you don't get a car ruined, touched, or scratched, or bumped. And don't do anything bad. And keep it where you're at. Be calm, be still. Because you know the guys behind you are struggling to get back up in front of you.
Speaking of drivers fighting, Kyle Purcell and Vinny Meistus for the 2nd spot. Purcell has pulled up here. And, you know, earlier today we saw Kyle Purcell run the top side of the racetrack and launch out to a 3-second lead. Now he's been joined by Ray Lane and Vinny Meistus. You see Purcell coming from behind has run into a bit of a roadblock in the form of car 70. Not able to go anywhere further because he's not the only one doing it anymore.
Yeah, that clean air. He's wishing he had that clean air now. But what I've noticed is, other than running that top side for all 4 corners, he's been running that bottom here lately. And as we see him run it right now, trying to see if he can propel that car just a little bit ahead. Even if he can get to the side of Meistus right there, he can try to side draft, but he's going to get the run there. Meistus is, you got to stay on that top side for 1 and 2. I think 1 and 2 is the biggest portion of the track that you want to stay on on the high side. But 3 and 4, you can, as you can see, you can propel yourself up there.
So watching 2nd and 3rd as they approach Ray Lane. They've closed in a little bit. Ray Lane starting to slow up. Don't know if Ray is saving fuel or what's going on for the 41 car, but he's going to have to pit in this stage. He does not have enough fuel to go to the end. He, of course, did not top off at that stage caution. He was the one car that stayed out entirely.
This is an interesting situation for Lane. He might just get a little loose off the corner. I wish he went in and got fuel because, you know, he wouldn't have to be worrying about pitting in, but maybe he's just betting on a late race caution. I've done it before, trying to see if he can keep himself out in front, because you know everyone's going to come in. Everyone's going to need that fuel if you're not saving. So maybe that's what he's betting on, but I think no matter what, he's still going to lose a bunch of transitions.
Brad Delph was slow this time out of turn number 2. He drops down to the 19th spot. I saw red lighting up the time against scoring sheet and looked over, and it was the 72. It's a battle, though, for the 10th position. Adam Ball and Robert Roth. Roth down low in the 59 car. Ball up top in the 19. They both sit right ahead of Charlie Widener. Widener's got company in the form of Cody Eldred. Eldred backs off, lets Widener have the lane. And Charlie Widener started this season with a whole bunch of teammates over at Backwoods, Backwoods Bandits, I think. Had a handful of teammates. Heath Smith, Michael Milfelt Jr., Justin Michael, I believe, had a whole bunch of teammates when the season started. For one reason or another, all of those other drivers have left the series. He has been left remaining here, fighting it out all year long, and has made the Final Four. Can he, winless thus far, go for a championship this season? He's going to give it his best shot. He made it in over the guy that just passed him, Ryan Patty, after Patty had an abysmal race last week at Las Vegas. Widener was there to come through and stay consistent as ever, as he's been all season long, and claim a spot in the Final Four consistency has been the name of the game for the 95. I mentioned he hasn't won a race yet this season. He's just been top 5ing, top 10ing them to death. And that's what's got him here thus far. But he's going to have to elevate another level up and get a race win, I think, if he wants to win this championship.
That's the beautiful thing of oil racing. You don't need to win races to be a person to go and win the championship. All you gotta do is stay consistent. Consistency is key, and that statement will always be true because even if you're not winning, as long as you're staying in the top 10, top 5, all you need is that one person who's just had a bad race. And as we saw last week, everybody had a week and propelled Whiplash to be able to go up there and try to fight for a championship so he can maybe win again, make his way back to the field.
Finnegan now up to 14th spot, working on 13th as he passes Widener. Finnegan's going to roll the top side here, try to get around Charlie Woods. That would be the number 98 on the inside. Purple Heart Homes on the hood of that car. And here goes Finnegan to the inside of Robert Roth. This is looking for 12th, rather, yeah, 12th spot.
Definitely not saving as much as...
Oh, that was close.
Wow. He's definitely not saving as much as he did last stage. That is for sure.
Meanwhile, Kyle Purcell has run down the race leader. This is for position number 1. Ray Lane outside. Kyle Purcell inside now. He ducks in line. Tay McDonald's going to go down low. Lane and McDonald are teammates.
Ooh, Purcell got the wall there. Oh, he's riding that wall. Yeah, it's going to tell Tay to get in front of him.
So your top 4 under a blanket. Tay McDonald rolls the bottom side this time through 3 and 4. These guys are racing to the completion of lap 99, so about 30 to go.
I'm surprised how well these people did not take tires. I would have never thought that they would have this much speed, but I've been proven wrong multiple times tonight, so I'm loving this, how I've been proven wrong, because I want to see this good racing going on.
Meanwhile, lead change. Tay McDonald moves up ahead of Ray Lane. So McDonald back to the point. Here comes Kyle Purcell on the inside of Ray Lane. And they will fight on the front stretch. Side by side they go. You can see Logan Romney and Kyle Diaz in the background. They fight for 5th. Lane hangs on, though, for 2nd.
I'm surprised by the speed McDonald had. We did not see this last stage, so good on him to go up there and try to get that speed, making it so he can make himself known in this race, and see if he can go out there and win points, because I think where he's at in the championship, he wants these points. He wants to put himself, make him the best of the rest, so that's what we want right now.
See Ray Lane working the outside. Vinny Maestas goes by. Ray Lane just missing it so far this evening as Purcell and Maestas go by this 41 car. It was good of Lane to get up there and lead some laps, but he's just a little bit off right now.
Yeah, and he's going to have to put the fuel too, so we can't forget about that. So I think his racing is going to start falling down just a little bit because he needs to come in and get some fuel. So.
McDonald and Purcell both took tires in the last pit stop, so they're on new tires, the 2 of them. Maestas and Lane each stayed out, or rather, well, stayed on the same tires anyways. So they're on the same tire strategy. Brian Smith took tires in the last caution. Kyle Diaz took tires, as did Vincent Loria in 7th, Jacob Smith in 8th. Logan Romney in 9th and Ryan Patty in 10th. They stayed on the same tires that last caution.
I'm looking at the race right now. We have Zach Lockett and Tristan. They both just left the race, so I'm wondering what happened there. Must be some personal issues that.
Lockett is actually, well, he is 16 laps down. Tristan Pirine is 1 lap down. He just left, and Cody Neal is a lap down. I'm not sure how he lost that lap. Actually, Cody Neal might have lost it from the pit stop. Remember, he was leaving the pit lane as the leaders came in. That might be why Cody Neal's a lap down. As we've got a pit stop. Here comes Kyle Vincent Gilbert.
Now, with how close you are somewhat to the stage, and these leaders are coming around 3 right now, would you expect him to take tires, or would you expect him to just do a splash?
I would think fuel only. Save tires for the end here, but he's going to take some tires.
Yeah, he's going to go a lap down here. Leaders are just going across the start-finish line, so this is going to be interesting for him. That's for sure.
Up front, nothing changing. The only difference now is that Brian Smith is through to third and working on Kyle Purcell. As we near the halfway mark in this race, when we complete lap 80, it'll be cross flags. Purcell grabs the wall.
Yeah, we were talking about Brian Smith earlier. I think he was saving fuel and tires. I think we might have been a little wrong on that statement of saying that. Yeah.
He does look a whole lot better now than he did earlier, I will say that. He was looking a little bit anemic earlier, like he was maybe just a little bit off his game today. But right now, as this long run sets in, he looks really, really good. He has driven through the field. Everybody else is starting to fall back as this run sets in, but he has driven up now to 3/10 back of Tane McDonald and is closing in on that race leader.
Yeah, he's making these tires work. We're seeing Tim McDonald starting around the bottom, trying to see if he can take that air off his nose, but I just think Smith's got that tire wear. He's got it down. He's got it figured out. It's seeming a little loose there, but he's still rolling and he's getting closer and closer and closer. I think we're going to see him right on the inside here. Trying to see if he can get to his quarter panel. And yeah, he's going to be alongside of him coming out and turn 4.
Brian Smith noses ahead. You see the graphic go blank because he's got his nose ahead of the 29 car. And McDonald nearly gets the wall that time in 1 and 2.
Yeah, it's going to take some time off the Tay right there. Eric trying his best to stay out of the way of these leaders, but that's taking away his preferred lane, that's for sure.
Problems maybe. Vincent Loria blinking a little bit. He runs in 4th now, but he just blinked out big time. Comes back into the session and stays with us in 4th spot. He runs down low.
Yeah, and that's one of the most difficult things for a driver to race around. Car that is blinking. As he blinks hard there again. Oh my gosh, he is blinking hard. You don't know where that driver's going to come back in, so that's one of the most scariest things to see as a driver, is the car blinking in front of you.
Especially passing lap traffic here. Eric Smith trying to give way into the 67 car. Smith squeezes into the wall there and goes that lap down. And here comes Ray Lane to the pit lane. So pit stop time for car 41. We're just by cross flags, by the way. Just over halfway.
I would expect him to take. He's going to go a lap down here. I know that for a fact as the leaders come around the start-finish line. So I don't know if it would have been the right move to take tires there, but I would have taken tires there personally, because you're coming down to the end of the stage, and I don't know.
I think save the tires, especially in the case of Ray Lane. He's been part-time. He's not running for points. He's running to win the race. Save that set of tires just in case that situation comes up later where you need them.
Yeah, now all he has to hope is that he's going to be the first car a lap down. That would be a diminishing thing if he was the only car that would not get the free pass, and he'd have to wait for all the drivers to go in.
Well, it's going to be close for the rest of these guys. They may also have to pit. We might see widespread pit stops here very soon as Kyle Purcell is overtaken here by Vincent Loria. Loria trying to complete the pass. Slides back now. Tries again down on the inside of turn 3.
he's got him. A little loose there. I've been watching Noria. He's definitely figured out the blinking a little bit. Hopefully I didn't come into a person, but I've been watching him. He's gotten it figured out. Not blinking as hard as he was earlier, so that's good on him.
And Meistus getting free, just hangs on to the race car. He's going to lose that 4th place back to Kyle Purcell. Ryan Patty sits in 7th. Nathan Finnegan sits in 8th as they pass Kyle Diaz. They're in the background there coming off the 4th corner. So a big recovery drive for Nathan Finnegan. He won stage 1, fell back by virtue of a pit penalty, and has fought back into the top 10, now runs in the 8th spot. A really solid effort out of car 6. And one that's been a lot of fun to keep a little bit of tabs on. And it's going to be a lot more fun to keep tabs on as this race goes on. We're still about 13 laps away from the end of stage 2. So we've still got time to move up even further. I think you could absolutely get to Jacob Smith, Vinny Meistus, and some of those guys.
Jacob Smith's pitting right now, so that's one driver that he just passed. So let's hope that Nathan has enough fuel to make it to the end, because of course we want to be that driver that need to go back up there and all of a sudden it's going to hit. Jacob Smith takes tires. Like, we've seen other drivers taking, other drivers not, but I assume with him he would not take tires because he's going to stay in that lead lap. It's like, yep, there's a splash.
So Smith back on the racetrack here, and he will try to stay on the lead lap. But Brian Smith comes up on the outside and will put him 1 lap down.
All he has to do is hope that he can try to stay right behind Smith just a little bit to see if he can stay on the 1 lap car down. So we'll hope that he can do that, because the driver in front of him is Robert Bluen, and he is looking like he might go a lap down.
Anthony Teseo into the pit lane. Let's see if it's tires for the 15 car. It is. Tires going on. Meanwhile, Charlie White, another check-in. He now runs 11th spot, chasing Charlie Woods, and ahead of Joshua Clemens. So this is the 4th of 4 playoff drivers, and that was a close call for Ray Lane. Not sure what happened, but he stays on the racetrack just barely. And we'll continue on. That was a Code Brown for sure. And Kyle Purcell, similar situation, real free.
Yeah, we're starting to see these tires wear and wear and wear, and I said it earlier, these tires are going to get loose. You're gonna apply the power just a little bit too early, and you're going to get that car loose. So good on these drivers to keep it clean and make sure to keep the car straight, but gotta be careful. You don't want that right rear getting hot, because it's going to happen more and more and more.
Pit stops. Here's a bunch. Everybody coming in. Tay McDonald, Vincent Loria, Vinny Meistus, Kyle Purcell, Logan Romney, Kyle Diaz, Charles Woods. Everybody coming in here, lap 91. They are not good to the end on fuel.
Yep, and that's exactly right there. I don't know when Brian Smith's going to come, or he will. I assume he will, but we'll see here. I want to know when Tay McDonald and Brian's not going in. I thought he was about to go in. It looked like he was about to go in, but
mostly fuel only for these guys, and Vincent Loria will win the race off the pit lane and just get out ahead of Tay McDonald. That's an important pass to make as Brian Smith goes by these guys. Does he feel like he's got enough fuel to go to the end? It's lap 92. He's trying to complete lap 99. He's still shifting, so he must have to pit.
I think I just heard over the radio that he's pitting now. It looks like he's slowing her down pretty hard.
Yep, he's coming in.
He is winning.
Here comes car 78 to the pit lane. We'll let all those guys get back on the lead lap. Here comes Ryan Patty, Nathan Finnegan in the background. And in a world where you're not taking tires mostly for a pit stop, you can do this strategy. You can stay out on the racetrack a little bit longer, run on the lighter fuel load, and wait just in case a caution comes out. That's not a bad call at all. As you see, The 78 car is in, waiting to be dropped. There he goes. Fuel only for car 78. Should be the same for car 6 and car 30. Fuel only for each of them. Patinko also in. Brad Delph in. Cody Neal in. Stephen Tuck, Brock Hersey, Eric Smith takes tires. Jacob Gladulich now stays on the racetrack in car 14. Can he go to the end here?
He is going to try. That is for sure. Ryan Smith just going
14 seconds
out
back.
Of 2. Just going out of 2, so I don't...
Here it goes.
Oh, as it goes. Yep.
Oh, a little sideways, a little bit of lockup for Jacob Gladulich coming into the pit lane, but he makes it in. And that now leaves Sean Purcell on the racetrack as the lone car yet to pit. He's got 13 and a half seconds back to Brian Smith. Could this be a gamble for a stage win? Could he have saved fuel?
He's shifting to 4th still.
There he comes.
He's coming in. Nobody gambling to stay out there, so that's going to be a big implication for stage 3. Hopefully, we get some good green flag pit stops and see how this strategy can.
And Brian Smith is going to inherit the race lead once again. Vincent Loria some 5 seconds back. Then Tay McDonald, Kyle Purcell, so on and so forth. So that's the lead that Brian Smith has. 5 seconds. That spells disaster for the rest of the Final Four.
Yeah, he's definitely making a statement right now, showing that he is a very fast driver. He can save that tire, and he can propel in the long run. So big statement from me here to all those championship competitors. Hopefully that they can get up there so we can get some good racing. But Brian is just showing them the way.
Lap 97 of 99 here for stage number 2. By the way, Ray Lane, who came in and took fuel only, I believe, or was it 2 tires maybe? He runs in the 13th spot. Logan Romney, similar strategy, runs in 11th. Just to recap a couple of the other strategies, Ray Lane was leading this race earlier on. Of course, had to pit from the race lead. And Ryan Smith has the race lead now with a lap and a half left to go in stage number 2. Nathan Finnegan won stage 1. He's a Final Four driver. Brian Smith has 1 lap separating himself from the stage 2 win. And again, this is a little bit meaningless right now for Brian Smith. Yes, it's nice to get that stage win, but he gets no benefit from it.
Yeah, you definitely want to be ahead of the rest of your competitors. I think this is a big statement for a lot of the drivers around him, but this is the first time tonight we've seen all the championship 4 in the top 10. So Widener making his presence known in the top 10, so maybe he's going to try making a better charge in stage 3. So we'll see. But Loria and Finnegan have been there throughout the entire night.
And we're going to get the stage caution here. That was it. That's the stage 2 win for Brian Smith. The caution comes out now. And it's a green and white checkered flag for car 78. Yet another stage win this season. We'll be talking to driver 78. Vincent Loria goes 2nd. Nathan Finnegan 4th. And as you mentioned, Charlie Widener just tips into the top 10 as a Final Four driver. One more time, I want to thank our partners with the series, not the series, with Pit Stop TV, rather. Whiplash SimCams, ATVL, CC's Business, and Cody Williams Design. Whiplash SimCams brings you all the sights and sounds of these broadcasts. ATVO brings you the graphics. CC's Business brings us the beautiful smells back at home. And Cody Williams Designs helps us look good while going fast. Brian Smith wins the stage. He'll lead the field into pit lane here in just a moment. It should be 4 tires and fuel all around for just about, if not everybody. Vincent Loria, Ryan Patty, Nathan Finnegan, Vinny Meisis will all come in. Brian Smith leads the charge.
Yeah, I'd only expect the people that are a lap down to stay up for sure. I wouldn't want to see anybody else out here try to see if they can save their stuff a little bit more, because you're going to have to fit just a little bit earlier. You might get the run, but I definitely would agree with you here. You're going to see everybody come before. It's cool.
Four tires for the 78. He's just about alone here at the front end of pit lane. Woods has fallen down through the field. And Jacob Smith is now 2 laps down. It'll be the 78 first off pit lane, followed by the 67 and the 30. So the order holds steady. Which means we'll have a chance to dial up driver 78 here. And he will stay out front of the field even after pit stops. Brian Smith, one of our final 4 drivers. You've just won stage 2. It doesn't mean a whole lot for you. It's just finishing position in these last 3 races, but how much of a help is this to you in your race?
Yeah, looks like a few guys might have stayed out here. I'm not sure how this will all shake out. Yeah, I mean, good to get track position here to start this final stage, and that's just going to be the name of the game. He's going to be staying up front and hopefully clean final stage here.
And of course, this is a different approach than NASCAR takes and a lot of other leagues take to the Final Four situation, right? This is a 3-race round where finishing position matters for all 3 races, but there's no stages really for you guys, no stage points coming into it, no bonus points coming into it, just finishing position. Do you like this? Do you hate this? Are you somewhere in between?
Well, I hate how they do it in real life. This is a step in the right direction. At least gives us 3 races to decide a champion. But I think the champion should be decided from the start of the green flag at Daytona at the start of the year to the checkered flag at Phoenix. At Phoenix. I think that stretch should be what decides the champion. So hopefully I throw 3 good races together here. But not a huge fan of the format. But everyone's at the same disadvantage. We'll just see how it goes.
Well, you're off to a good start. How do you keep this race going your direction?
Do exactly what I did in that stage. You saw a bunch of guys there hot lapping to start the stage, and just let them go right on by, and I ended up winning that stage by 7 seconds, so for their sake, I hope they took some notes on how to drive this thing.
You mentioned how to drive this thing. It is a bit of a tricky car to get around Homestead. It's a really odd combination in a way. Do you have any tips for somebody maybe like me that doesn't know how to drive this place?
Yeah, don't run the wall to start a run if you're trying to save tire. It's really that simple. If you guys have been watching me, it's been a lane up from the bottom on that seam and just staying consistent, not letting the car slide around and keeping the tires up.
Brian Smith wins stage 2, will almost lead us back to the green flag. Sean Purcell stays out. Best of luck here, Brian.
Yep, thanks, guys.
Sean Purcell stays out. We'll restart first place. That means Brian Smith will join us for stage 3 from the 2nd position. Anything interesting to you there in that interview, Mason?
He's very confident. You can tell he knows he has the speed. He knows he's going to be one of the fastest drivers out there. He's a little critical about the format. I mean, to be fair, it's a different format. But I think that he's taking this approach. He's showing them that he can do any format because he's been the most dominant car out here all season. And, I would like to see him take that 78 to pit lane. Or not pit lane, to victory lane.
We'll see what he can do as the rest of the field stacks up behind he and Sean Purcell in the front row. It'll be into the Geico restart zone, this time by for the field, getting this race restarted for stage number 3. We're back green at Miami. 2, 3 wide through the entire field. Vincent Loria straight ahead of Brian Smith. Sean Purcell, though, in the race lead. Smith now down to the inside to make it 3 wide.
And Smith's trying his hardest to get around Loria. He's really going to push up just a little bit. It's going to give Smith the run here. He's going to barely get in front of him, but you want that clean air. You want to make it so you don't have to fight for that clean air. You can make it so your car is way better than the corners. So just barely gets in front of Smith.
Purcell hangs on after a lap. He's on older tires. Loria up top, running the top side. Comes off the wall, has a bit of a run. One car down low, that is Charles Woods. He hangs on to it. Loria dives to the inside of Sean Purcell. Here we go. For the race lead out of turn number 4.
Ooh, just a little loose. One thing I've noticed about these cars throughout the last couple of starts, these guys have been pushing way harder on the starts. We're seeing a lot of these guys getting looser.
Purcell on the wall.
Ooh, that's going to get Smith slowing down a little bit. So Loria's going to take the lead here. Smith coming right behind him in a second.
A block there from Loria. Here comes Brian Smith with the run. Side by side, the two most winningest drivers, the two most daring drivers of the season, and the two drivers that I think have had the most run-ins together all season long. They've been outspoken against one another. They had some drama last week at Las Vegas, and here they are racing it out in the Final 4 at Homestead Miami Speedway. Ryan Smith will take it over. Vincent Loria is going to go for a spin. Can he hang on? He's just going to hang on to the race car. What a catch!
What a save by Loria. That is an expertise save right there. You don't see a lot of people do that in these next-gen cars because these cars are hard to save. That's going to hurt them in championship implication, but it's way better than going out there and wrecking the car.
But it's little mistakes like that that have held him back from the 14 wins that we see for Brian Smith. It's little mistakes like that that have been the separator between cars 78 and 67. It's little mistakes like that that I think will decide this championship. Brian Smith leads the race here after a few laps in stage 3. Vincent Loria falls back to 16th spot. Caution. Jacob, glad you let you round into turn 2. Comes to a stop and gets the car rolling again.
I'm wondering if that's the same thing that happened to Loria. I'm wondering if it's got a little loose with Patinko there.
Yeah, Evan Patinko in trouble as well.
There's a little incident right there. Maybe he was waiting on Glaudowicz to give him his position back, but it's either going to be a spin around or it's going to be Patinko and Glaudowicz getting into it again.
Looks like they both go for a spin. Potentially together here. Patinko gets loose, comes down, and just slaps the side of the 14 car, sends the 14 for a spin, and Patinko goes for his own spin off the top side.
Yeah, that's just the driver trying too hard to get on the throttle too soon. Glaudowicz just the innocent bystander there, and he got his nose heavy on the inside wall, so he's going to need to use the faster if he has another one. That car is going to be down on power for sure.
No fast repairs here in the Icon Cup Series.
Oh, so that's going to be hard for Glaudowicz. That was a hard hit on the inside wall. So.
Oh, and Loria got a piece of that. Loria got a piece of that, getting into the 96 car as he was spinning. This is the kind of stuff that piles up, and if not for his mistake the lap prior, Vincent wouldn't have been back there to get in that. He wouldn't have got that nose damage he just got. Although it looks pretty clean to me.
Now, Andrew, I have a question for you. Would you come into the pits and see if you have optionals to repair, and just get a little bit more as we see anyway? So my question was already answered. So my question is not going to be a question anymore.
Yeah, that question is answered for sure. He came in to make sure the car is okay, in tip-top shape. And with about 50 to go, this is not a position where the fuel window's open to the end of the race. So this is still kind of a supplementary pit stop. You shouldn't see many tires taken. Although Widener, it looks like, takes tires. Loria takes tires. They've each saved a set. So this actually could help them if we go green. If we don't go green to the end, this is an extra set of tires they didn't need to use.
Yeah, it's really only going to help them be faster on this maybe towards the long run. But if there's another caution, if this keeps going out into a caution fest, that's really not going to help them. They're just going to be wasting a set, and these guys will have a set prior way better than them if they come in and get new tires. So I think that was a little too soon on taking tires. This should help them save a little bit more fuel than we saw them have to do last stage. So maybe we might see a little bit longer run. Maybe we don't see people coming in to pit. So if this turns into a caution fest, these guys should have enough to make it to the end because it's only a 61 lap stage.
I think we'll still see them all pit at least once, just based on history. I don't know if that's going to be enough fuel to get them to the end. I think that especially having that little run they just had of 10 laps or so, that's going to burn a decent chunk off. That 60% fuel load, man, it only goes so far.
Yeah, that's something you definitely have to get used to. I'm used to 80% with BRB. We're thinking about new ways, but yeah, I'm not used to the 60%. So hopefully these guys can make it to the end. I'd love to be able to see a race to the end, but from what you said, it sounds like it will not last. So maybe we see green flag pit stops cause a change of the race leader.
You mentioned the BRB Butt Kicker Cup Series, and while you don't see the BRB Butt Kicker Cup Series on this upcoming broadcast graphic, it's not too far away. Season number 3 is coming up, and I'm happy to announce here on broadcast that we are returning for Season 3 of the BRB Butt Kicker Cup Series. Say that 5 times fast. I've said it about 3 times now. So we are returning for Season 3. That's the important part of this, and I believe the season begins on November 12th, on a Tuesday. We'll carry on November 19th, not 26th, that'll be an off week for Thanksgiving, but you get the point. Into the winter here of 2024 and into 2025. It's exciting to be back with you guys, Mason Houseman, and everybody over at the BRB Butt Kicker Cup Series. I know Adam Buzzio is excited about it, as is just about everybody that I've seen in the series. But you see here, next up for us, it's the Jack-O-Lantern 200. We'll talk more about these broadcasts in a little while. For now, we're inside of 50 to go and coming down to the Geico restart zone to get this race restarted. It's just about nightfall here in Miami. Green flag back in the air, waiting for it for Brian Smith. We're racing again in Miami. Oh, almost contact there between the 04 and 70. Nathan Finnegan on the outside in the 6 car. And here comes Mises to the inside of the 04 of Sean Purcell. Brian Smith leads, Vinny Meistes second. Then Sean Purcell, Nathan Finnegan, Ryan Patty are top 5. Kyle Diaz, Ray Lane 6th and 7th, Tay McDonald 8th. Kyle Purcell 9th and Joshua Clemens 10th.
Now that Nathan Finnegan's up here, do you expect to see him save as much as he did last time? Or do you think he's going to try to make his way up there to Brian? I would assume that he would try his best to save and see if he can do what he did in the first and second stage. But we will have to see for sure. But what's your stance on it?
No, I don't think he's going to be saving much at all. I think this is going to be a straight out just run to the end. And everybody's going to have to be on their A game if they want to win this race and go to victory lane. We're on board with Nathan Finnegan. He's going to run the top side here, and this is an interesting strategy call from him. He gets the wall just a little bit. I'm not sure how to run on the top side right now. I think the bottom side might be the place to be.
He's way faster on that bottom than if he was on that top. He's been really fast on that bottom all day long, so I think he needs to stay on that bottom and do what he was doing in the earlier stages because that top does not seem like it's sticking well for him.
Kyle Purcell grabbed the wall that time in 1 and 2, but Kyle Diaz goes on by the 6 car, now looks to the inside of Sean Purcell. Diaz is moving up in a hurry.
Just That was scary on Finnegan's part. That was barely a bumper's worth there between the two.
And this is about where that fuel window would open up, right here. 40 laps to go almost. We're at 43 to go. So this is about where the fuel window opens up. If we get a caution now and these guys pit, they're good to the end.
Yeah, that's for sure. They'll be able to go in there, get maybe, possibly, if they want to use their last set of tires and get some fuel, but I don't expect them to take fuels out of the tires.
I think you would see them take tires if we got a caution now. I think you would absolutely see a set be burned. And again, you know these guys will be good to the end as Kyle Diaz is a problem. He goes down to the inside of the racetrack, comes back on. But there's a plethora of strategies you can put into play here. Plenty of options for these guys. As Tay McDonald just kind of shifts up the racetrack a little bit in the 29 car. He runs third now, Sean Purcell fourth. Vinny Meisis is up to second. And where is Vincent Loria? Well, he's down with Charles Widener. Loria runs 13th spot. Widener runs 14th. Those are two Final Four drivers that are having a bad day.
I've been listening to the race chatter, and Loria got in an earlier incident with another driver, and there were some words that could not be said over the broadcast. So Loria is getting a little bit of a problem with traffic right now. Maybe pushing harder, he's getting that pressure in him. So maybe he's not racing drivers with as much room as he did earlier. So hopefully that doesn't cause much implications on him later here in this race.
We jump on board with Vincent Loria. He's running 13th, looking for 12th here on Charles Woods. And oh, there's Kyle Gilbert on the outside, just making that much more difficult for the 67 car. Making life a little bit more complicated for him. He will get clear of the 227, now just works in the 98 car. He's clear through to 11th spot, now going to work on teammate Joshua Clemens.
He's trying his hardest to get back up there. I know I've been in this seat before. His heart is beating. He wants to get back up there. He wants to show that he can be a contender. But with that earlier incident, it's just hurting him. It's making him so he has to work harder than what he wants to. His tires are going to start to get warm.
67 though, back up into the top 10 now as he gets ahead of Joshua Clemens. That's more than can be said of Charles Widener. Problems for Jacob Gladulich. He's pitting. He knows the fuel window's open. He's going to come in and get fuel and tires. Head back out on the racetrack. He's good to the end now. But I don't like this move. This is a bold strategy.
I was just about to say, I think this is too early. Your tires are going to get worn out way too quick. You might have the short run speed, but these guys really don't have that much of a fall off as what I was expecting. So I think that this is a little too early of a call by Gladwich.
I ran an AI race of 20 laps earlier today to prepare myself for this, just to learn the car a little bit, learn how to drive it, and have an idea of what to expect going into today. I ran my best lap of the race on lap 8. And I guess it's not that crazy, lap 8 of a run, but when you hear the NASCAR Cup guys talking about how tires are a premium and here you just burn tires up, it's interesting. Lap 8, you can run a fastest lap on these tires. And every driver's going to have a different run. Every driver's going to be a little bit different. You can run a fastest lap on lap 1 and never run faster. Who knows? But to be able to run a faster lap on lap 8 than lap 1, 2, or 3 or something like that means... Oh! Loria gets into Diaz. Oh my gosh, that was in the distance there. Loria now into 8th. That was very, very interesting. And Diaz has got a bunch of left front damage.
I'm surprised they held that. I was back there watching. I don't know how they held that. I don't think these two are very happy with each other right now. I think they're going to be beating the game here a little bit more than what they were. Because that was a very hard contact.
Not sure what happened, but Diaz comes off the corner now trying to get ahead of Kyle Gilbert and Logan Romney. A handful of Chevrolets battling here just at the cutoff for the top 10. Diaz in 10th, Romney in 11th. Romney on the outside, Diaz on the inside. Meanwhile, back to that point of running faster laps later in the run, and you talking about how the wear isn't quite what you were expecting, I do think these tires are a little more durable, a little bit longer than we thought. But there is still that eventual drop-off where these tires just absolutely take a turn for the worst and get really hard to handle, slow way down. It's just a little bit deeper in the run than you might think.
Yeah, when I was running some tire sections, I was doing it more earlier in the day, so I think later times are really helping these guys wear these tires a little bit less, making sure they can run a little bit harder. But like you said, that fall off, when you get the fall off, it hits hard, and you have to be expecting it because you will not know what's going to happen. You're going to be going into a corner one time, and it's going to work out. As you see, it's going to be going ahead of Kyle Purcell, but these tires will get loose and quick.
Purcell crosses the 6 car up, dives now to the inside of turn 1. Finnegan hangs on to it up top, and Purcell will fall back now into the 4th position. Gets free, hangs on to the race car. Finnegan, though, moving up. And boy, what an answer it would be to Brian Smith's dominance here today if Finnegan can go 2nd place. That would hold Brian Smith pretty much in check for the championship.
Yeah, Brian, I understand what he was saying earlier with the interview we gave him about the format and how he didn't like as much, but this makes it so much better for racing because now you can't get those huge gaps from the guys behind you, and it makes it so that the racing will be more competitive and more stern, so you have to race as soon as you can every week.
On board with Nathan Finnegan, you see the 29 car on his outside, that's Tane McDonald. Trying to pass McDonald, McDonald gets the wall. And that is pass made for Finnegan. In a world where we have 30 laps to go, which we've got, I don't know that Finnegan can run that 78 car down. This is about as good of an answer as you're going to be able to give. So where Smith is going to dominate likely and potentially win this race, this is a really good spot to be in if you're Nathan Finnegan to hold him honest. You're going to 2 racetracks where you can win, a short track and an intermediate where you've already won. I think this is a good spot to be in if you're Nathan Finnegan.
Yeah, and that's why I love this format because it makes it so it's not just one race where you have to go and race your best. It's 3 races now where you have to go and race your best. And this format of not giving them stage points, that will make it the best, and you'll see that good racing all throughout the 3 races of this championship drive.
Kyle Purcell, Ryan Patty, Joshua Clemens, and more pitting that time by. We expect our leaders in just about any time now with 30 to go. I would say, if anything, maybe in the next 5 laps, we shouldn't see them all pit. That would cut this right about in half.
Yeah, and that would definitely make it so you have more ease on yourself and make it so you don't have to worry about the fuel as much, so you can go out there and run your hardest. See if Nathan can go up there and catch Brian. But I've been
Romney spinning into the pit lane.
Oh no!
And his car is junk.
Oh, he's done for the night. That's going to be a tough fix. That total is done.
We'll take a look back as to what happened to car 42. Trying to enter the pits here. Let's see what happens. Just got loose and hits the attenuator. Kyle Larson 2.0.
That's a race ender right there. I feel for him. He was doing so good. He was so fast here tonight. That's going to be a tough hit for him tonight.
More pit stops. Vinny Mises is in. Tane McDonald is in. Nathan Finnegan, more importantly, is in. And this is before Brian Smith. This can get Finnegan back on the racetrack with an undercut to run a little bit faster and try to put some time on the 78 car. Does Brian Smith answer with a pit stop? No. Smith stays out.
I think Brian's been saving his stuff just a little bit more than Finnegan, but I like this call from Finnegan. Get the undercut. See if you can get some time up on him because there was about a 2-second gap when he came into the pits. Let's see if he can make that time back up and get even closer to Brian. But Brian will have the best tires coming out from Finnegan. So we will see what goes on.
Loria stays out. Brian Smith stays out. I think Smith is trying to catch a caution. I'm not sure why else he'd still be on the racetrack. Loria stays on the racetrack here. Cody Eldred still on the racetrack. Anthony DeSeo still on the racetrack, along with Hersey and Bluen. Finnegan is the top driver who's pitted. He runs in 7th now, 1 lap down as they run.
He's going to try to see if he can get his lap back the hard way if Brian doesn't come back in now. I think Brian's going in right now.
Yes, he is.
We're seeing Brian Smith going in right now.
Pit stop made, or, well, coming up for the 78 car. But that's 2 or 3 laps that, I think about 2 laps that Finnegan's going to have on him, on better tires. The drop-off is about a half a second to a second. A half a second to 3/4, we'll say. That's enough to make up the gap, I think. I don't know if it's going to be enough to pass him, but enough to make up the gap and be within range.
So if we're going off of that, about a half second to a second between 2 laps, we're going to see mostly that Nathan Finnegan should be about a second behind Smith if Smith did not mess up. But I think he just passed him, did he not?
He did.
Oh my gosh, so that's big implication on the championship right there.
Finnegan took 2.
That could be the call that wins the
That's
race.
a huge gamble. Huge gamble, and it might work out.
That could be the call that wins him the race, though, if it does work out. And that will give him the championship lead if he wins this race, coming out of this race.
Vincent Loria with problems. He might be out of this race. We'll go back and see what happened to the 67 car, if anything. Here he is. Was it a problem trying to pit? Or does he blink out? He blinks out. And that's it for Vincent Loria tonight.
Oh no! Yeah, it said that he dropped a packet loss, and now he just reconnected, so he's going to be laps down. So that is for sure his race done tonight. He's going to try to race to get some points back, but he's not going to be anywhere near these championship drivers.
Everything is coming unraveled. It's a 4-second gap between Nathan Finnegan and Brian Smith, and Smith has got to go by 2 very difficult drivers to pass, Vinny Maestas and Ray Lane. Ray Lane will put up the biggest fight.
I like this call from Finnegan, being risky, going out there, see if he can be as competitive, and as of right now, it is working out. So
still a long ways to go, and Ryan Patty goes fastest on 4 Mr. Feelgoods. There goes Brian Smith by Vinny Maestas. That's 1 pass made. He's got to get 1 more and then run down the 6 car. If anybody's going to run that 6 car down, it's going to be Brian Smith. Question is, with 20 laps to go, can he make up the time deficit? 4 seconds nearly.
The only thing with Finnegan right now, Finnegan has that clean air.
Look at that.
Smith's,
Top of the screen.
That's not what you want to see from Finnegan. You don't want to see him set faster lap time than you, but who knows? He's got clean air. Smith does not. So that could make or break your race.
Ray Lane pitted 4 laps earlier than Brian Smith here, but Ray Lane will still put up a fight. It'll be interesting to see how this little battle goes down. Smith fighting for a championship. Ray Lane is not. Smith faster yet. A 32.947. And he's quickly going to make easy work of that 41 car. Go right on by Ray Lane. Ray Lane goes back to the inside here. Going to make it hard on the 78 car.
Yeah, big crossover there from Lane. He's going to push him just barely at the track, but Smith's going to have him here out the X. He's going to have that run. He's going to have the draft help from that front, so he's going to be able to get around Lane.
That lapped car is Brian's uncle, Eric. That helps him a whole bunch. Now the gap is down about 3 seconds. And closing. I think Brian's going to get there.
Yeah, if he's gaining this much time on Brian or on Nathan right now, he'll definitely be there. I wouldn't think that Nathan will try his best to race as hard as he can because those are 2 championship drivers. One position will not make or break his championship. I think that he's going to race him just with respect and he's going to make it so that those two can both finish in respect one too. Because this is the race for the lead right now. After pit stops.
Off the corner, there's Finnegan. You can just see him into the corner there. A couple of cars still on the racetrack that have not yet pitted, Anthony DeSeo and Brock Hersey. They should be pitting any time now, but they're waiting on a caution just in case. They've got about 10 more laps of fuel. So they could go deep in this race. DeSeo, who knows? DeSeo might be saving enough to try and go to the end.
That would be a big commitment if he could do that. I think he's been running. I've been watching him. I don't think he's been shifting. I think he's been keeping her in fifth, not getting on the gas as soon as a lot of these drivers. He's going to be losing a bunch of time to Finnegan and the drivers behind him. But if he can make this work, that would be a statement that he is one of the best out here to save fuel. And that will be a tough job to do because these drivers are working their hearts together because they're good on fuel. They don't need to worry about this, so they can just drive.
See Brock Hersey there not saving fuel. At least doesn't seem to be. He's staying in fifth gear, but that's about it. There's Finnegan, and the gap behind has closed down to 2.3 seconds. It is closing a little bit more slowly now as we approach 10 laps to go, but it's still closing, and that's my worry.
This is going to be interesting. I want to know how this is going to end up. You see Brian Smith right back there in that yellow circle. He's just barely getting up there, but we saw him getting way closer to the race. Just maybe, I don't know, maybe Smith's tires are starting to equal out with Finnegan's right now.
Let's see at the stripe, what's the gap? About 2.14 seconds. We'll ride this onboard for a lap and see what it is the next time by. From 2.14, what's it going to be the next time around?
He's dropping. Yeah, he's probably gaining about 2 or 3 tenths a lap, so we'll see how this goes on.
Last lap, it was a gain of 2 tenths. It's going to be close.
Yeah, but Finnegan's got lap cars in front of him, so he's got to watch out here. He's going to get grabbed.
From 2.14 to 1.86.
Yeah, that's going to... Finnegan has to go to top here, try to get around these lap cars. It's going to be tough for him. He's going to lose time here with these lap cars, possibly. So that's going to be what Brian wants to see. But Brian also has to go through these. So maybe it all matters on where the lap cars are going to be and how fast you can get through them.
Whoa, Brock Hersey up the racetrack with Jacob Smith. Could this slow down Brian Smith? No. Hersey's going to pit. There you see the gap, 1.5 seconds now at 11 laps to go. The math works out. He can absolutely get there. DeSeo, though, still on the racetrack. Maybe trying to stretch this tank of fuel. We don't know just yet. He's got a 5-second lead, so DeSeo still leads this race. We're watching the fight, though, for the championship, and you see Jacob Smith get up and out of the way. It was not that easy when the 6 car went by.
I thought he would have gained more time there on Finnegan. He didn't gain as much as I thought he would. It's all gonna, like I said, it's all gonna matter these lap cars. Can you get around him fast? If you can't get around him fast, you're gonna lose time. And Finnegan right now is racing hard with Kyle Gilbert, so he's gonna try to get around. Maybe Gilbert's gonna let him down. He's gonna let him down here. So it all matters on where you catch the lap car.
Staying on board with Brian Smith, 1.1 seconds now. And DeSeo is finally pitted.
This is your battle for the win right now. As you're on with Brian Smith right now. Hopefully this comes out to be close, but Nathan's praying. He's got his fingers crossed. He's got his lucky star. He's trying his best to keep in front of Smith right now.
It's a good gamble regardless, and if we were to get a caution, I think they each should have a set in the pit lane. It'd be interesting. So if we get a caution, the track position would really work out nicely for Finnegan. But I think as they run, if this thing runs down green, Smith's going to go by and win this race. It's a good gamble regardless, but I think Smith's got it.
Now, I said earlier, I don't think Nathan will race him hard. Do you think Nathan will race Smith hard?
He has to.
That's fair.
I think he has to. He might not. He might realize, hey, Brian's faster, let him go. But I think he has to. I think he has to fight for all he's worth.
Yeah, you've got a good point there.
They're out to a 5-second lead.
Yeah, you just don't want to wreck your competitor, and you don't want to wreck your own self, especially with, you don't want to, oh, as he gets loose there, oh my gosh, he stuck it out there. That's going to make Smith get even closer to him.
Yeah, but Brian Smith is kind of stalled out here. On board with Brian. He continues to catch, but with 6 laps to go, I thought he'd be closer.
Maybe that dirty air might affect him just a little bit more than what he thought. But I think with those 4 tires, he's going to propel himself way farther up ahead. I think Finnegan's got to run that bottom. He's way faster on that bottom. Brian just completely catches up to him through that bottom section. And if he can just take the nose or the air off his nose, he might be able to hold back.
That move up top from Finnegan was reactive. That was a reaction to Brian Smith catching up. Smith stays low. Finnegan stays high. 5 laps to go at Homestead Miami Speedway this next time by, and Brian Smith has caught up.
He is on his tail now. He's got to work around him. He's got to fight hard. He's got to stay on him. He can't let him get around. If he gets around, he's going to be able to pull away from him. But Brian is just making that run stick. As Finnegan gets the run on the outside, we'll see how it goes down to 3.
Finnegan trying to hang on for the race win. But there goes Brian Smith through 3 and 4, and that's going to be a pass easily made by the 78 car. Finnegan put up a fight, but it just wasn't enough.
Finnegan might get the run here. He might try to send it. No, he's going to be respected. Yeah. So I think that's a good call on Finnegan. Don't fight him as hard as you can. Understand that he's the faster car and just go into Martinsville knowing that you're close to being competitive.
See Smith breaking the draft for a moment there. That was 4 laps to go the last time by. Vincent Loria never rejoined. He's 19 laps down. Charlie Widener runs in 10th. And boy, a caution would turn everything up on its head now. Finnegan's not done. He's not done at all.
He's trying. He's putting that work into those tires. It's just, ooh, Smith gets loose there. That's going to bring him closer. If Finnegan is betting on Smith fighting as hard as he can, if Smith makes too many mistakes, Finnegan will get to his rear end.
There it is. That was not good. That was all the way up the racetrack for Finnegan. He lost a lot of time.
He got pushed a little too hard there.
2 laps to go. Popsicle sticks in the air for these two. There you see the gap, 1st and 2nd in the race and in the championship. We've got 2 races to go, though, in the round of 4. It doesn't end tonight. We go to Martinsville next week, then Phoenix the week after. White flag is out this time by for Brian Smith. It'll be the white flag brought to you by Whiplash Simcams. There it is, waving from Barney the Flagman.
Nathan's trying. He ran that inside, trying to see if he could get there. Oh, it's gonna be close, but I think Smith's gonna have him here as long as Smith doesn't mess up.
Finnegan slips up, goes up the racetrack that time out of turn 2, opens the door for Brian Smith to put even more time on that 6 car through 3 and 4. The final time around at Homestead Miami Speedway. It's going to be a round 4 opening race win for Brian Smith. The stage 2 win, the race win, and the championship lead going into Martinsville.
Yeah, that's a statement win from what he was earlier in the race. That's a statement win showing that he is one of the fastest drivers out here, and he is just going to lead them out through there. And going to Martinsville this year will be a big win for him, especially for Finnegan too, knowing how close he is to him as he showed respect to him right there.
You see in the YouTube chat, Kyle Turzak reacting to the battle for the race win, questioning why Nathan Finnegan didn't fight harder. I think it's all a chess match.
It's like what we said earlier. Those what ifs. What if you fought harder? You know, you never know what's going to happen unless you do it. So, I personally believe that was the right move on me. Just understanding that there's 2 more races. You don't need to go out there and wreck the car and maybe wreck the competitor. So I think that was the right call.
Well, it's a checkered flag for this guy, Brian Smith, burning it down on the front straightaway here at Homestead Miami Speedway. Checkered flag for him. A race win to begin this round of 4. But he's got to stay honest. He's got to keep it up at Martinsville and at Phoenix, a track where Nathan Finnegan won earlier in the season.
It's gonna be. I think it's gonna come down to Phoenix. These 2 drivers have shown where they're the class of the field all season long. So, like I said earlier, it's gonna be a good race for Martinsville. So, if anyone out there watching, make sure you come back and watch that race, because we're gonna be seeing these 2 drivers battle it out to see who can go into the championship lead going into Phoenix.
And let's not forget Vincent Loria. He is still in this. While he's going to be a little ways out of it after this week, he's still in this championship battle and able to claw his way back up. These guys could have a bad race next week or at Phoenix, so we don't know what's going to happen. Vincent Loria and Charlie Widener, who finishes 10th this evening. He's still in this thing. Let's take a look at the race results. Brian Smith out front over Nathan Finnegan and Vinny Meistis, your top 3. We'll talk to all 3 top 3 drivers. Tay McDonald runs 4th. Ryan Patty takes a 5th place effort, rebounding from a terrible, terrible day at Las Vegas a week ago. Ray Lane 6th, then Kyle Purcell, Joshua Clemens, and Sean Purcell. And finally, there you see Charlie Widener, a top 10 this evening to kick off the round of 4. '11th place, Charles Woods. 12th, Adam Ball. Evan Patinko in the 13th spot, and you see the rest of the top 20. Highlights, I think, would include Jacob Gladulich just hanging on to the lead lap. Robert Roth there as well. Anthony Teseo ends up 1 lap down. Couldn't quite get back to the race leaders to unlap himself after staying out for a long time on that last run. Robert Bluen goes 21st. Brock Hersey 22nd. Eric Smith 23rd. Cody Neal 15 laps down, ends up 25th. Vincent Loria 24 laps down, never returned. He'll finish 26th spot. Logan Romney, Kyle Diaz, early exits. Not sure what happened to Diaz, but he ends up 28th. Hanover Frisk 29th, and Tristan Pirine in the 30th spot. And finally, a couple of more drivers. Zach Lockett, Thomas Taylor, Heath Smith, and Travis Gilbert. Smith and Gilbert never started the race. We'll head down and talk with driver 78 this evening. We talked to him after stage 2. He won that stage. He wins the race here, though, at Miami. Congratulations, Brian. This is exactly, I'm sure, how you wanted to start the round of 4. Can you keep this up, though, at Martinsville in a week?
Oh, man, yeah. Martinsville's going to be a wild card, but certainly starting off this final round of 4 drivers the way you want to. Pretty dominant performance. Just ran a conservative race, held my line, and stuck to the game plan. I think Finnegan made the right call there, taking 2 tires. I was really sweating that, maybe like 10 to go. I didn't know if I'd have enough or how hard it would be to get around him when I got to him. But, man, yeah, just everything went as it needed to tonight, and talking to you in victory lane. So, yeah, went well.
Were you surprised by Nathan's choice for 2 tires?
No. We've seen that move work so many times this year at these 1.5 miles. I've pulled that move plenty of times, most recently at Kansas. And what happened at Kansas was the reason I didn't do it tonight. I won the race by 1 lap, but the guy, I don't remember who it was, whoever put 4 tires on would have passed me in 1 more lap, and I took 2. So I felt like I had enough of a buffer there to put 4 tires on it. I don't remember exactly how many second lead I had, but it was definitely a tough call, and hey, I think Finnegan made the right call, and yeah, it was a great race.
Well, congratulations, Brian. Good to talk to you. The round of 4 is only beginning. Got to hang on these last 2 weeks. Best of luck to you.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Shout out to everyone watching, and great job as always.
We'll go on down and get second place finisher Nathan Finnegan this evening. He won stage 1, ends up 1 spot shy at the end of stage 3. You pulled a heck of a strategy call. Is there anything else that you could have done? Could you have fought him any harder?
No, I got to tip my cap to Brian. He ran a hell of a race, and yeah, that was pretty much a battle of strategy. I think we were very, very similar on pace, and the 4 tires prevailed. If only the race was 5 laps shorter. In hindsight, would have loved to have been closer to him, given when we came in to stop. I think we were like 2 seconds back when we came in for our pit stop there, the final green flag cycle. 2 tires definitely seemed to be the call, though. It just didn't quite work out. But yeah, credit to the 78, and I mean, really happy with the 6 URI Chevy Camaro tonight. We'll definitely take a top 3 and, you know, keep some solid momentum going into Martinsville here.
Now, you've won at Phoenix earlier this season, so I won't even talk about Phoenix right now. Martinsville next up. It's a wild card for everybody. Is there a way you can attack it, or is it just go in there and just try to hang on?
It's interesting because there's been these cars are built like tanks. I'm sure other people have definitely told you guys that, and it's keeping it one piece and track position, because you really can't pass there. So we'll try to qualify well. We'll do what we can this week to prep, and yeah, hopefully we can put on a good show at Martinsville and hopefully come away with the hardware, get a grandfather clock. That'd be nice.
A solid effort here for sure. Nathan Finnegan, good to talk to you after the stage 1 win and the stage 3 second place. Congrats. Hopefully we'll talk to you again next week in Martinsville.
Appreciate that, guys. Thank you.
And we'll see if we can dial up Vinny Meistus. He's down in the MP Racing chat. Give me 1 second, and I think we can get a hold of driver 70. It's going to take a little bit of an effort here. There we go. We'll bring in Vinny Meistus, and we'll bring in driver number 70, who goes 3rd place this evening. Vinny, you're a couple of spots shy of that first race win here in the Icon Cup Series, but given that you're a part-timer, given that you're on limited starts here this season, that's got to feel like a win in and of itself.
Yeah, of course. I feel pretty happy with that. Just wasn't sure with the strategy here, so you know, got to fill up the field and all that. It's my 2nd race with these guys, and it's pretty tough, I got to say. So yeah, I'm happy with the 3rd place. I'll take it. So congrats to Brian, and I don't know who 2nd was. I think it was Finnegan, right?
Yes.
Congratulations to those guys.
And we don't know much about you, so tell us about yourself. Tell us how to pronounce that last name as well.
It's pronounced Maestas.
Hey,
but,
I'm
yeah.
not far off. All right, then. I'll take it.
No, you're pretty good, actually. I was actually impressed. Appreciate that, too.
Yeah, Maestas. Does that sound right, Maestas?
Maestas is pretty common. Maestas is the correct way to say it, but either or, I'm cool with it. Works out for me.
Well, as we get to know you here, Vinny, first of all, it's good to talk to you finally for the first time. Do you feel like you can bring the fight to these guys these last 2 races of the season?
Yeah, I definitely feel like I can. I just got to get used to the way these guys drive and fill out my own strategy here. Definitely don't want to intrude too much in the ending of the season either. So I'm kind of just, someone needs a pass. You know, I'm not going to rough them up or anything like that. So I definitely next season, if I can race full time, I definitely will try my best to run up top 3 as much as I could.
Well, congratulations, Vinny. Good to talk to you for the first time. Hopefully we're talking to you again soon.
Likewise.
Vinny Maestas there in car 70, learning how to pronounce that name. We were close there, Mason, real close. I'm surprised, actually, because that's a name I've never seen before. Usually I can piece names together pretty decently based on other names I've seen come across on iRacing, but that was a new one for me. I'm very happy with how close I was. I'll take it.
I completely thought I was saying the complete. I think I was. What was I even saying? I was saying. I don't even know what I was saying. You were close. I'm impressed.
Well, we'll take it there for Cars 70. He goes 3rd place this evening. Tim McDonald 4th. Ryan Patty 5th. And that does it for us this evening from Homestead Miami Speedway. Next up for these guys, Martinsville. Oh, that's a scary thing, Martinsville is. And I'm excited. Race 36 on the season. Usually race 36 means it's the end of the season in a NASCAR-style league or in NASCAR itself, but it's the penultimate round here in the Icon Cup Series with that extra race that was thrown in, making it that much more fun this season. I'm excited. Are you?
I'm excited to go watch it. I wanna see how this championship goes out. I want to see if there's going to be any drivers out there that can go and win it in front of these championship competitors. And I want to see if there's going to be any tempers flying, because that track is very known for it, as it's just short track racing.
We saw tempers there in the spring. I'm sure we'll see tempers again. It was race 7 back in the spring, race 36 here in the fall. Going to be a lot of fun at Martinsville next week. Make sure to tune in for that and all upcoming broadcasts here at Pit Stop TV. Next up, it's the Real Promotions Jack-O-Lantern 200 Auto Club Speedway on October the 30th. Then it's November 3rd. We go to Martinsville Speedway with the Icon Cup Series. So right back in a week's time for race 36 of 37, race 2 of the round of 4. And then it's out to Las Vegas Motor Speedway back on the West Coast with the Sim Rap Market Series for No Limit Racing. That'll be race 4 of 18 for their series. And November 12th, things get started for the BRB Butker Cup Series, and that's where Mason Hausman comes from this evening. Mason, it was good to have you here once again. You were here at Bristol about a month ago, here again at the back end of October. Good to have you. Maybe we'll have you for one more before the season's done. Final thoughts here from Homestead?
Yeah, I'm super excited to come here and learn with you guys. Make myself known. Make my league known, and make it so that we can go out there and give you guys a good product. And I'm appreciative of you letting me come in here and step in for Zach. And if any of y'all out there want to go and check out anything, make sure you follow us on our social medias, pitstoptv.com, Facebook, Instagram, Twitch, YouTube, and X. That's where you'll be able to see all of our live races, and make sure you go give us a follow there.
Absolutely. Well, that'll do it for us this evening from Homestead Miami Speedway. Thanks for tuning in. It's been a pleasure as always. But that is it from Miami. Next up, it's Martinsville Speedway in a week's time. You don't want to miss it. Make sure to tune in then. Until next time, have a great night.